Thank you so much. Good morning, Steve. And Rioplex continues to develop. We are in the process now of inviting board members into the organization. Joaquin Spammer invited me to join to become their first board member, and I said yes, of course. And so I agreed to continue with this new board for 1 year, and then it's going to continue to develop. We're hoping within the next month or so we'll have a complete set of board members that can work in the best interests of Rioplex. So as far as everything else that's going on, we have also set up a membership category for Rioplex. As you know, if you want to be part of Rioplex, there's going to be a fee to be part of this organization. And there's going to be 4 categories. And the high category would be $25,000, $5,000, $2,500, and then $1,000. So as far as the names, there are going to be names for those categories, but let's say right now it's going to be the first category is going to be founding partners. And then who knows, it might change, it might not, but those are the categories right now. And the other thing that's happening is that we invited several organizations from the local area to help us with the branding process. And so a local organization agreed, and we had the first meeting last Friday. So the process is going to continue, and the idea here is that although there is a name, Rioplex, we want a particular branding to go along with it. So obviously to help us with our marketing campaign. So that's going to take place hopefully within the next month and a half. We'll have some kind of brand that everybody can agree that this is something that's going to work for us. So that's exciting, and we have a lot of people involved that are helping us with this process. Not only the company, the local company, but other individuals that can give us an objective opinion of what they think of the final result. So that's going extremely well. But I think as we continue to go forward, the message is going to be that this is an area that is ripe for investments, for industrial activities, whether it's manufacturing, biotechnology, micro manufacturing, whatever it is that people want to do. This is the right area. You know, when you look at the spectrum of all the sectors in the Rio Grande Valley and Rioplex on the northern side of Tamaulipas, they have a lot of manufacturing going on. But on the U.S. side of Rioplex, you know, that's very light manufacturing. There's only about 16,000 people that work in the manufacturing sector. So we want this particular sector to go up, and that's the intent of Rioplex. Rioplex is going to invite industrial operations to come to our region to see that this is an area that they can invest. This is an area that has talented people, and it's going to help, we believe, everybody in the local area.
How are you getting along with the established economic development corporations? They all do their own thing. I know, for example, Co-Steppers, they were telling us recently they've had some great success in holding some tours, having some tours down here. They brought a manufacturer from Canada down that was interested in our region. How does Rioplex work with Co-Step, and which is a regional EDC, but all the individual EDCs in the different cities?
Absolutely. You know, and we're talking to all of them. How is it going to work? It's going to work, I think, fantastic, because we're going to complement whatever they're doing. So, you know, McAllen, Mission, Far, Edinburgh, Westlaco, Harlingen, Brown, and all the other ones in between, we talked to most of them already, and to explain what's going on, so they can continue doing what they're doing. And Rioplex is telling them, this is how we're going to support you in attracting additional customers. And the message is very simple. You know, when you have a city of 150,000 individuals, well, it's 150,000. But when you have Rioplex with 3 million people, then that makes a difference. So that's the intent with Rioplex, to try to tell the world this is an area that has 3 million people, that has a lot of border crossing activity going on, a lot of bridges. We have a spaceport, we have several seaports, we have an international railroad crossing, and So who wouldn't pay attention to all this activity? And the other part, when you have this huge population that knows about manufacturing, people would be interested. There's a part in the agreement between Mexico and Canada and the USA, the USMCA as they call it, that at least 40% of the jobs in manufacturing have to be paid at $16 an hour. Well, this is the best location for $16 an hour. And so I think when people realize that there's this strategic location right on the border with all these people that understand manufacturing, I think this is an ideal location.
And how about feedback, communication with the economic development groups on the other side of the river in Mexico, in Tamaulipas, Matamoros, Reynosa, etc.? Have they bought into the project?
We're talking to them. They go by the name of Cobifer and Codem, I believe Codem, one in Reynosa and one in Matamoros. And they like the idea for the most part. We haven't heard any naysayers, so I think that's going to blend real well. Because at the end of the day, Rioplex is going to help promote their region. So, if we're helping promote the region, why would anybody not like it? So the intent is to have a well-defined region that has X number of population, that has the medical school, that has universities, technical schools, community colleges, and so forth. I think those are fantastic assets that we can promote. Just yesterday, we were at Region 1 because Region 1 has the tri-agency group that's looking at how to improve the careers in the high schools. And that activity by itself complements everything that is being done right now to promote the region. So when you have the high schools getting ready to promote information technology, they get ready to promote the health industry, the governmental industries, law enforcement industries, I think that says a lot about the region. And when you look at the numbers of people that are enrolled, in Hidalgo County alone, there's 30,000 individual students at the public school area. That's a lot of students, and those students are moving through the pipeline. And then when you look at the universities, and again, you look at the numbers, they're huge numbers of individuals that are enrolled at UTRGV, STC, TSTC, and Texas Southmost College. So those numbers mean a lot to the big investors. So when they see that we have this huge population that's being educated, because they want obviously an educated workforce, it's not going to be a big consideration for them to say, I want to go to the Rioplex area.
And going back to the EDCs again on this side of the river, one of the founders of Rioplex is Joaquin Spammer from CIL Logistics. And his big thing, and he said it in many public events, is he doesn't like the fact that so many of our EDCs duplicate things. They spend money in the same areas, they go to the same venues, maybe in Mexico, to promote themselves. And he would like those EDCs as a group to achieve economies of scale by saying, okay, I'll look after that area, you look after this area, we all benefit. Have you seen any evidence? Is there any evidence yet of those EDCs saying, Joaquin's got a good point here, let's work together?
So we're going to set up what we call a communication hub and put in that platform all the opportunities that are available out there. Of course, everything here is voluntary. No one is going to be forced to do anything. So, for example, if there's an opportunity to go, let's say, Korea, does it make sense that everybody go there, or would it make more sense that one entity from our region goes to Korea and takes care of Korea. And then if there's another opportunity in Germany, for example, let the other entity go to Germany and take care of the whole area. If there's an opportunity to go to Mexico, Guanajuato, or Querétaro, would it make more sense for someone to go there? So that information will be in that platform, and then people, the economic development entities will decide who wants to go where, and I'm sure they'll have the same information for them to consider. But it makes better sense that we all spread out and promote the region instead of all of us going to the same region, and then we have to fight for your attention when we're there. So that's the idea with the communication hub. At the end of the day, this is voluntary. No one is going to be forced to do anything. So if they want to go, fine. But I think it makes perfect sense. I used to be in the Air Force, and so we have certain principles that we follow. And one of the principles of warfare, okay? And one of the principles is economies, the right size economy of force, okay? So there's no need to send a division to attack a certain point that doesn't require a division. You can send, for example, a battalion or a squadron. So it's the same concept. Why go to one location with all the force when one person can do the same thing? Economy of force is the concept. So although that's not what Joaquin was thinking about, that's what I'm thinking about. That it makes perfect sense that to use the right force to go to that location, deliver the information, and get the most out of it. And then we have enough money to go all over the world, because there's all the entities can choose a location. Wherever they want to go, they can go. What we want is for the business leaders that are involved in economic development. We want the industrial developers to join us in our efforts, because this is something that's going to help everybody. Anytime that you promote an area, it's going to bring a lot of attention to this area. So developers, economic development entities, there's a benefit, the cities, to get involved in this, because when we bring outside investment to do manufacturing activities, that is a good sign. Anytime that you invest in manufacturing, it's going to create more jobs. Not only the job that's involved in manufacturing, but additional support entities, support jobs to carry on to their particular mission, whatever it may be. So manufacturing is good. And since we only have like 2.7% of our population working in manufacturing, it makes perfect sense that this is an area that we need to grow, because this is an area that will leave the most money locally. So, when you look at our country, for example, I would say that between 10 and 11% of the population works in manufacturing, and we're only at 2.7%. So we have a lot of room to grow, and we have the people that have the skills, they have the knowledge, but we just have to give them the opportunity for them to pursue those kind of careers. And I think as we continue to do this, people will realize that, manufacturing is not so bad, but not just manufacturing. Manufacturing is such a broad thing. There's so many things involved. There's also something that we like to consider like micro manufacturing. When you think about these are small components that can go anywhere. And I think when you talk about the medical industry, this is where micro manufacturing goes into play. So think about it for a minute. When you go to the hospital, and I don't go to the hospitals a lot, but when you do go to the hospital, they use those very fine needles. That's someone manufactured those things. We can do those things here, and it would be any problem. And then you can think of all the other micro devices, medical micro devices that go into doing all the things that go into the hospital. So those are things that can be done here. And we have the skills, we have the talented workforce, we have the programs in our colleges and universities to do this. So this is a perfect place.
Mario, thank you so much for today's interview and bringing us up to speed on all things Rioplex.
Fantastic. Thank you.